Chapter 18 of Brave New World marks the culmination of John the Savage's tragic journey, ending in his suicide, an act born out of despair and an intense conflict between his beliefs and the society he finds himself unable to assimilate with or fully escape. John chooses isolation, retreating to a lighthouse outside London in an effort to purify himself from what he perceives as the corrupting influences of the world state. His methods are severe and reflective of immense internal torment. He engages in fasting, self-flagellation, and induces vomiting as acts of penance, driven by guilt over his mother Linda's death and his conflicted feelings about Lenina. Despite John's deliberate isolation, his location becomes public knowledge, drawing crowds of onlookers, reporters, and eventually film crews, turning his quest for solitude and purification into a public spectacle. When Lenina visits, driven by her own confused emotions, her presence triggers a violent response from John, who attacks her with a whip. This act catalyzes a riot, devolving into a frenzied orgy, with John inadvertently becoming the center. The following day, John awakens to the aftermath of the orgy, horrified by his participation. Consumed by self-loathing and unable to reconcile his actions with his ideals, he sees no other escape than through suicide. This chapter vividly contrasts John's desperate pursuit of purity and solitude with the invasive, voyeuristic tendencies of the society he despises. Despite his efforts to stand apart, John finds that the influences of the world state permeate even his self-imposed exile, culminating in a final, tragic act of despair. Moreover, this chapter further explores themes of alienation, the struggle for individuality, and the destructiveness of societal and self-imposed expectations. John's inability to find peace or compromise between his values and the world around him underscores the profound critique of both the conformity demanded by the world state and the extreme asceticism John adopts in response. The lighthouse, intended as a refuge, becomes a prison, exposing John's ultimate inability to escape the psychological and societal forces at play. His suicide is a poignant commentary on the lack of viable alternatives for true freedom and individuality within the novel's setting, closing the narrative on a profoundly somber note. The events of Chapter 18 not only bring John's story to a close, but also serve as a powerful indictment of the world state's dehumanizing effects and the tragic consequences of an uncompromising search for purity in an impure world. The contrast between John's fate and the seemingly more hopeful future awaiting Bernard and Helmholtz in exile highlights the novel's complex exploration of freedom, happiness, and the human condition. Thanks for watching this Bookly Crash Course video. Make sure to check out my channel for the complete chapter-by-chapter summary playlist.